This episode is sponsored by Auto Trader. See a car in that movie you just watched?
You can find it on Auto Trader. Shop millions of new and used cars on Auto Trader.
Welcome to Ear Biscuits, the podcast where two lifelong friends talk about life for a long time. I'm Rhett.
And I'm Link. This week at the Round Table of Dim Lighting, boy, have we got you. We're gonna help you out. You've got problems, and luckily enough, we have a number, and you've called it. 1-888-EARPOD1.
The number one.
And we are going to help you out. And if you didn't leave a voicemail, I challenge you to do so. I challenge you to challenge us. If there's something that we've said that you want to retort or add color to or in any way respond, hey, we're open to that. You know what? We don't pay for the number based on the number of voicemails we receive.
Right, because
we can receive unlimited voicemails.
We are including some follow-ups to previous answers to questions today. Not just new questions. We got new questions, we got follow-ups, the conversation continues.
I'm encouraged by the fact that we have people listening and then calling. Of course, we like highlight voicemails at the end of the episode if you're like listening to like closing credits type stuff.
Yeah.
But I like the idea of making this show a little bit more interactive. There's some threads that continue because we talk a lot of shit.
Yeah.
And sometimes
there's only so much we can say about ourselves, y'all. Listen, we've said it all.
And don't worry,
we're gonna making us talk about ourselves.
We're gonna talk about ourselves.
We'll do it enough,
happen, but
we don't necessarily like doing it. Okay,
I like.
Let's talk about you.
Stoking the fire of
Let's talk about
voicemail is what we're trying to do here.
Sex,
and
baby.
It's happening.
We already did that.
It's happening. We did get feedback from
my wife,
Jessie.
My wife listened to the Sextember episode. She was like, well, I listened to your Sextember episode, and I was like, I immediately began to do the math or whatever it is as you go back through and try to remember what you said. And I was like, I think we talked a lot about strip clubs.
Because she is apart from you. So that I would take that as a good sign. It's like,
hold on. Let's clarify. She's out of town. Like, you said it like we were separated, man.
Well, you are separated.
Word choice is important.
Rhett and Jessie are currently separated.
No, she is back on California soil as we speak. Her flight just landed, and I look
What I heard was that
tonight.
They were separated on different coasts, living. And when she was supposed to come home, she calls Rhett up and says, I'm staying another week. So that's not a good sign. But if then she says, oh, but
just because you wouldn't be able to be alone for 2 weeks doesn't mean that I can't be. Okay?
Well,
just because after 2 weeks you would be curled up in the corner of your home in the fetal position, starving, not dehydrated, because you can get water for yourself, but you can't make food for yourself, so you'd be starving.
I don't know what I would do.
You'd be in a pair of dirty underwear for the 5th day in a row.
Yeah, that's why.
Just because that's how you live doesn't mean that's not how I live.
Right, yeah, if y'all want to be separated, that's fine. Chrissy and I will never be separated. But I think it is good news when she says, yes, we've been separated, but I've been listening to your podcast, especially the one about sex. Like, hey.
Can I have a tissue?
That might mean it'll dry up. It's a wooden table.
Yeah, but I don't want it to.
It doesn't, trust me.
I don't want it to take away Michael Vsauce Stevens' signature. Oh, gosh.
Okay.
Or Blair. Remember that? Juicy Star?
Yep.
Wow.
We used to interview people on this show. What did she say about it? She said...
I was listening to your podcast, and I gotta say, I was laughing so hard. And she was like, I was laughing so hard while I was driving that she didn't say I had to pull over, but it sounded like she was about to say.
She was about to say she had to pull over?
In my mind, she was about to say that she was about to pull over. That's how hard we made her laugh.
That's nice that you're apart and that she's
listening to my voice.
Just laughing.
Uh-huh.
It makes you feel good. I came in from walking the dogs and Christy was sitting on the couch drinking her coffee. The dogs always jump right in her lap and tell her about how amazing the walk was. And this time, instead of talking to the dogs, she was laughing. And I was like, what are you laughing at? And she was watching my podcast with my dad.
Okay.
I'm sorry. You weren't. It wasn't this one.
Thanks for clarifying.
But it did make me feel good that like she found my dad funny. So it's not quite as good. It's not quite as good as your wife finding you funny, but it's close.
She also found you funny.
I think she did a little bit.
No, my wife found you funny as well. She said y'all were both very, very funny. She did then say, it sounds like you kind of want to go to a strip club.
Yeah, a little bit, maybe, yeah.
And I was like, I didn't say, you read something between the lines. And I was like, not unless you want to. Not unless you want to.
You read something between the strings.
Yeah.
The G strings.
Yeah, so my wife is back. We're no longer separated.
Good.
And we were only separated, physically.
For 2 weeks.
Not relationally.
For 2 weeks.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So don't call me this evening. Do not call me this evening. Do not text me. If there is an emergency, ask another friend.
Okay. All right, great. What about logging into your webcams? Don't do that?
You wouldn't know how to do that.
Oh, man. I know how to do that.
I don't have one in my bedroom, by the way. I'm not like you. I don't have security cameras inside my house.
You're lost.
I did it.
I'll give you the login if you want.
The funny thing is when you set that up, I was like, oh, this would be a way to keep up with the house when I'm not there. But then very quickly, both of my kids were like, what? They had like friends over and they immediately just unplugged them. And I was like, oh yeah, that was probably not a great idea.
Yeah, somehow it keeps going at my house. I don't know. I look at it occasionally. Well, let's try to top that episode today.
Let's start with a voicemail that is a follow-up to a previous conversation that we had.
Hey guys, my name's Kyle. I'm calling about Link's story about helping the car crash victims who were having a seizure.
Yeah.
And your comments about his smile during his intervention. And I just want to say that when I was in the Air Force, they gave us a lot of training on this kind of stuff and, helping people during combat. And one of the things that they told us was, to always kind of reassure people that it's going to be fine. It's going to be okay. It helps them stay calm, helps them from getting their heart rate even higher than it might be.
Yeah.
Helps them from maybe slipping into shock.
Oh, there he goes. You okay?
Hold on.
You all right?
I think.
It's going to be okay.
Is that how?
It's going to be okay. Just call back. What happened?
Hold on. Our caller is having an emergency.
I think the speaker died.
What? The speaker died?
Do you want to smile at them?
Are you sure?
To make sure that he's okay?
That wasn't he didn't hang up.
No, it's
the speaker died.
The last 3 seconds.
Oh.
You absolutely did the right thing, man.
That was it? You totally did the right thing, man?
You totally did the right thing, man.
But I thought he was going to say that in the Air Force, they trained you to smile. And because I still don't know if my smile...
Yeah, I don't think the problem was your intention. I think the problem was your execution. Because you smiled at me the way that you said that you smiled at them. It made me uncomfortable. It made... When you smile at somebody like that, it makes it seem like you want them to die and you're a little bit happy about it.
I like the... And that's so opposite me. I mean, I feel like I have a newfound confidence to enter into emergency situations now.
Okay, well, you should go to places where those kinds of things happen.
Like war-torn areas?
No.
Like as a journalist?
No.
A vlogger?
I think you can find all you need in Los Angeles.
Well, it is Hollywood, yeah. Yeah.
I think if you go down to Hollywood Boulevard and just stay there for a day, there will be 7 to 9 emergency situations that you could insert yourself into.
And just smile at?
Yeah.
All right, I'm there. I'm there for it. What are you doing this weekend?
Charge for it.
Just looking for accidents to smile at, just to reassure people that it's going to be okay.
The smiler.
Right.
He doesn't help, he just smiles. Well, you got to have a Trader Joe's bag with you too, though.
Yep.
You're willing
to stop the bleeding.
To stop bleeding with Trader Joe's bags, and you'll smile right through it.
Yep. All right, give me another one because that feels good.
You should be slightly encouraged by that.
I got some reassurance. That's what I like to hear.
Hi, Rhett Link. So, me and my wife are getting married soon. So I just want to know, how can I make her sign a prenup without her knowing she's signing a prenup? Thanks. Bye.
Well, congratulations, first of all.
Yeah.
Sounds like you've got a lot of high hopes for the relationship.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Going in with clear eyes. Clear eyes.
But he wants to pull the wool over her eyes.
I just want to start by saying that I am the son of a law professor, and so I am the resident legal expert here. Mm-hmm. And before we go into any pontification about how you might get your future wife to sign a prenup.
Without her knowing?
I want to let you know about some legal troubles that you might get yourself into, right? So there are at least a couple of ways that you can get into trouble when you're trying to get somebody to sign an agreement against their will. So one is called signing under duress. Mm-hmm. So this is forcing someone to sign something, right?
Okay. Like when Suge Knight held Vanilla Ice by the ankles over the balcony.
I'm not familiar with this story.
Yeah, because he wanted rights to something. Vanilla
so that's
Ice had.
illegal.
Yeah.
That's signing under duress. But there's also something called fraud in the inducement, which is when you use deception to get people to sign things.
That's exactly what he's talking about. You want to have fraud in the inducement.
Right. So you can't really do this legally.
Great way to start a marriage.
So I would say that this is an unethical thing that you want to do.
Yeah.
Having said that.
Let's build our marriage on a big lie. That is an exit for me.
Let's just say, for instance, in theory, you actually did want to do this in spite of it being unethical and ill-advised.
Hold on, are you saying let's just say in theory, we want to help you?
Yeah, if we were to help you in theory,
so in
for
practice,
entertainment purposes,
we are saying
how might you get your future wife to sign something that she doesn't know she's signing?
So just to be clear, we are saying don't do this.
Yeah,
This is wrong-minded.
But if you did do it, this is how you would do it. Right. It's like that OJ book.
We're gonna give you.
I didn't do it, but if I did, this is how I would have done it. The way that everyone thought that I did.
We're gonna tell you how to do the thing.
Rest in peace.
That we don't want you to do. Rest in peace. We're gonna tell you how to do the thing that we don't want you to do. Is that what I said? Yeah.
I think they understand.
Yeah.
How do you get somebody to sign something that they don't know they're signing?
Don't do what we're about to tell you to do.
Okay, I think we've made that clear.
Well, crap. Did you have an idea? Because now we gotta.
Oh no.
now we gotta go to the dark side.
Well, okay. Well, the first thing that comes to mind for me is, do you know how sometimes when you sign your name on something and it doesn't look good, and you're like, man, I wish I had a better signature, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And so this is something that usually this happens when you're younger, like when you're like a teenager and you begin like figuring out how you're gonna like sign your name, right? Like so you don't look like just a chump.
Okay.
But what you can tell your wife is that, you know what? I think you're gonna be famous. I think you're gonna be famous. And I think people are gonna want your signature. And I think
you don't want to look like a chump.
I think you need to be practicing your signature. And I'll give you notes.
Right, but you need to practice on documents.
Well, first,
so I'm going to give you documents.
No, that's not subtle enough. You start with blank paper.
Yeah.
Note cards, 8.5 by 11, whatever, even legal, 8.5 by 13, whatever it is. You go there, you do a lot of signing until
you're
when
giving
you
her
think
notes.
She's ready. You're like, I think you're ready. This is maybe a weekend. She's ready. And then you bring in plan phase 2, which is what you're getting at.
I like your phase 1 because what I was gonna start with is you gotta find a ripe time where she's exhausted.
When she's ovulating?
Yet open and ovulating. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I think biologically women are more cooperative when they're ovulating.
I don't think this is a good thing to talk about. I don't think we should track the ability to manipulate women to their menstrual cycle. I think that while it might be scientifically true,
but we've already said
there is a strategy there. I do not believe that we should talk about it.
But we've already said we don't believe in any of this.
Right.
Don't do what we're telling you to do.
That's true. We also don't believe this part of what we're saying.
I mean, there's women here. They could. You know what?
When are y'all most susceptible?
When are you most what was the word? It's not susceptible or compliant. What did I say? Open to
influence.
Okay,
susceptible.
When you're ovulating, right?
Probably. Yeah.
Cooperative.
That's susceptible to flattery when you're ovulating.
Yeah. Flattery.
Yeah.
I would say just avoid the luteal phase.
Yeah. Don't try any of this during the luteal phase. It won't work.
What the hell is a luteal?
It's a phase of the menstrual cycle.
Is this right before it starts?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's leading up to when it's starting.
Are you talking about PMS?
Well, it's yes, but it's a slightly before as well. It's when
pre-PMS.
It's like when all the hormones really start to shift.
It's when it's revving up.
It's revving up, and
I've sensed this at times, not as much as I'd like to sense it, because it does happen more than I'm ready for.
Well, you could track it. It's trackable.
Yep.
And
that is helpful.
Yeah.
It is helpful to know.
So you got to make sure you're not in the luteal point in there.
So
don't try and convince a woman of anything weird during a luteal phase. You will get in trouble, get told off.
Yeah,
Right.
you'll get
Tread
the storm
lightly.
will dump on you.
Yeah.
So you want her to be ovulating, I guess is what we're saying.
Yeah, you want to be obvious. You said it.
I apologize.
I didn't say it.
I apologize.
All right, you want to be post-luteal ovulation optimal.
Okay. And this
And
is when
I was going to
phase 2
say
activates.
I like phase 1 because I thought that I was going to say when she's sleepy yet ovulating, I guess. But I like what you're doing because you're putting her in a training environment where she's being exhausted and mentally
This makes me uncomfortable.
mentally strained.
You're making me uncomfortable.
Yeah, I'm just describing what I heard you say.
I was having a good time when she was just practicing her signature because she was going to be famous. This is all positive reinforcement. She's not tired. She's
But you
engaged.
are lying.
She's engaged. Well, no. I think that she might be famous. His wife, anybody can be famous. Famous.
Yeah, look at us.
You just make a joke about BJ's on an interview, and all of a sudden you got an agent. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
Like, I'm not disparaging Haktua girl. I'm just saying that.
Don't talk to me about her because I've managed to avoid it.
I'm just saying that in the blink of an eye, you can do something at the right place in the right time, and you can be famous.
And you better have that signature ready, girl.
You got to.
And I'm here to help
the
you.
signature ready.
Phase 2 is you just slide in a document underneath all the index cards. And just that subject, just the signature lines popping out.
Wow.
Or you say, you gotta be accurate with your signature. You know what your signature is, but now you gotta be able to keep it in a confined space. Like, say a document. Now, I wonder if we have any lying around that maybe you can just sign.
Oh, I have a better idea because I think that she'll see through that. If this is the kind of person that might be famous one day, I think that they'll probably know they're being taken advantage of. So this is my addendum to your plan.
Okay.
You take a sheet of paper, you cut a rectangle into it. And what you do is you say, when you get famous, there's gonna be people coming in from everywhere, paparazzi, people with photos.
Giving you baseball mitts.
They're throwing things out, and you've got to be able to quickly hit the surface with your instrument and sign. Boom, boom, boom. So you set up an environment. You give her a target, and then you've got the prenup behind that target, and then you quickly put your thing over.
Yep.
And their little thing, the little window is right on the signature.
Little
Bam,
window.
she does it, and it's just part of an exercise.
Right, and you know what? Maybe you'll never need it. You know what? That's what you're hoping for.
But just in case.
Your lies and deception will never be exposed. But if they are, you better have a clause in that prenup that says that what you did is fine. You know, I would write that in the prenup. If she didn't know that...
You reference the deception that is happening to sign the prenup, in the prenup?
Yeah.
You can't do that.
Well, she's acknowledging the deception.
As a local legal expert, you also, that's fraud in the inducement. It doesn't make it better that you addressed it in the document.
Let's move on because now, I feel like I need to take a shower.
Yeah.
That wasn't us. That wasn't us.
I feel bad about that.
That's not who we are. We would never do that. You know that. That's just a horrible way to start a relationship.
Yeah.
You know?
Don't do that. And you know what? I think he was joking as well.
I think he was joking too.
What we're not joking about is the fact that Wonderhole is continuing to happen over on the OG Rhett Link channel, which yes, we have at least temporarily renamed to Rhett Link's Wonderhole. Mm-hmm. So you can find it. There's 5 episodes that are out. And there's one more to go that's coming out this Friday to complete this first season of 6. Thank you for watching. Thank you for all your feedback.
Yes.
It's been quite a ride. And many of you have said that you're waiting until they're all out to sit down and watch them all together. So
we're cool with that.
You know what? They're in a playlist conveniently for that purpose. And we add them every time we get a new one.
I don't think you should wait. I think you should watch them individually, and then when they all come out, watch them all together.
Yep. I agree with Link.
I'd love that.
Because we get 2 views from you. Sometimes when it's getting later in the day, I say to myself, Rhett, you need to pick me up. But then I say, Rhett, don't drink coffee right now because you'll be up forever. I also don't ever just say Rhett and then something. I actually don't do that. In come the people from Mud Water. They sent us a sample of their product. I'd seen ads for this thing like for a couple of years now. I've been wanting to try it. I will say that as Link was putting it together, he spilled it. He spilled both of ours. I may have also spilled mine a little bit when mixing, but I'm going to say it was all his fault because he's not here to record this ad with me. Well, switching to Mud Water can help you say goodbye to sleepless nights. It's got all the energy without the late night existential crises. To use Mud Water, you simply drop the powder into your favorite mug, or maybe your least favorite mug. Use whatever mug you want. Pour some water on it and give it a mix. There's also caffeine-free blends available, although the regular version has, I think, a pretty low level of caffeine compared to coffee. With organic ingredients for a clean, natural boost, Mud Water is smooth, earthy flavors provide a delicious and natural source of energy. Their OG blend contains cacao and chai for a hint of caffeine and hot chocolate-like flavor, lion's mane for focus, cordyceps to promote natural energy, and both chaga and reishi to support a healthy immune system. For a limited time, you can get up to 43% off your entire order, free shipping, and a free rechargeable frother when you use our exclusive link. Head to mudwater.com/ear and grab your starter kit. That's up to 43% off your order at mudwtr.com/ear. After you purchase, they ask you where you heard about them. Please support Ear Biscuits and tell them we sent you. Stay energized and refreshed all summer long with Mud Water, because life's too short for anything less than natural, delicious energy.
You know, there's so many really good streaming television shows that aren't in English, Rhett. And you can turn on the subtitles, or you can learn the language.
Oh, okay.
Like Lando is doing.
He is?
Yep, to watch his anime.
Well, if you would like that, in comes Rosetta Stone, the most trusted language learning program available on desktop or as an app that truly immerses you in the language you want to learn.
They've used trusted experts for 30 years with millions of users and 25 languages offered, some of which include Spanish, French, German, Korean, Chinese, Japanese, and Arabic.
Rosetta Stone immerses you in many ways. The lessons help you pick up a language naturally, first with words, then phrases, then sentences.
And it's designed for long-term retention. Plus, their built-in true accent feature gives you feedback on your pronunciation so you end up sounding like a pro.
A lifetime membership has all 25 languages for all language needs in your life. That's lifetime access to all 25 language courses Rosetta Stone offers for 50% off. That's a steal.
Don't put off learning that language. There's no better time than right now to get started. You can get Rosetta Stone's lifetime membership for 50% off. Visit rosettastone.com/ear.
That's 50% off unlimited access to 25 language courses for the rest of your life. Redeem your 50% off at rosettastone.com/ear today.
Okie dokie. The fun continues. Give us another.
Hi, Rhett Link. This is Mia. I recently got back into watching Good Mythical Morning after, a number of years back, or a number of years away.
Okay.
I think I'm here to stay this time, though. I've been recently going through, a couple seasons back, just, episodes I missed over the past, couple of years. And it got me wondering, have there ever been any episodes of Good Mythical Morning that were scrapped or canceled or whatever? Maybe there were ideas that just didn't, come into fruition, or there were episodes that you filmed and never released, or there were just parts of episodes you filmed and never, finished them or whatever. I was just wondering that. So it's a simple question, but I'm pretty curious. I really love your content and videos, so Thank you. You give me something to look forward to every morning.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. You know, it happens. You go through phases of life. You might be in a luteal period.
Right. Yep.
But then you'll come back to us. And we're here for you.
Studies show that most women come back to us when ovulating.
That's not us, though. That's not who we are.
No.
We don't talk like that.
No.
Yeah, we need all of that was in a hypothetical safe zone.
I don't know why I went back.
And now
to
you're it's dangerous to bring anything out of that hypothetical safe zone into any other part of conversation.
Forget I ever said.
Because that's not us. That's not who we are.
But hey, listen, if you're anything like me, I could never keep listening to or watching the same people. I'd have to take breaks from them.
And then you come back and you're like, oh yeah.
That's totally fine.
It feels like the first time. I love that. Now, you ask a really good question.
There is an answer.
There's an answer. And for years now, we've said that, and we've been told not to talk about it. We've been told not to talk about it, and I'm tired of it. I'm tired of not talking about it.
Well, we can talk about it in a certain way.
All right, I'll grant you that.
Will you let me set it up so that I do it in a safe way, a safe,
I don't know what
legal way
we have to be afraid of. You can explain that to me afterward, but maybe this will make it more intriguing anyway. So I like that.
Okay, you may remember there was a time, I don't even remember what year it was. I blocked it out. Maybe it was 2017. Is that when we did GMM 22?
Let's just keep going.
Yes.
So this is when we did
Part of 2018.
Okay. A bunch of episodes every single day, like 4 or 5 segments per day on GMM.
Mm-hmm.
It was not a success. But one of the things that happened in that period was that we had a lot of guests, if you do not recall, a lot of guests. And so there was pretty much every day there was somebody on the show.
Right. Yep.
And there was an eccentric filmmaker that we really wanted to talk to.
Yep.
And we had every idea that a conversation with him was going to be entertaining. And we had a couple of ideas for inducing the entertainment quality.
He was also the star of one of his movies.
Yep.
So I will say that.
He's been in his own work, and he's very eccentric.
Yes.
And there was a couple of scenes that we thought that we could kind of recreate in the midst of our interview.
It was set up as more of an interview. Like 2 of us in chairs, this filmmaker on an eccentric couch. And yeah, we were asking questions.
And it seemed like it was going okay. It wasn't going great, but we never expected it to go great.
And then while
it was going okay.
One of the questions was basically, can we do this thing? Which was a thing that happened in the movie and like an iconic scene. It's like, can we do this thing while having the conversation? And I think he said yes.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're like, oh, this is going good. Now he's being cooperative. This is good. So we started doing the thing. I don't want to say what the thing is. It makes it too obvious.
Right.
While we were having the conversation. He was standing at this point.
All of us were.
We were all standing at this point.
It's required.
And then the best I remember it, that ended. And he sat back down.
Uh-huh.
And then we started asking something else. And it was, I can't make a direct connection between the question that we asked and the response that he gave, which was, he was very upset.
What did he say? I can't remember. You might remember the exact words.
The sentiment was, you're making fun of me. And I thought he was in on the reenactment as a very mild joke. We weren't being
No,
rude.
I don't think we crossed. We did cross the line that he had drawn that we did not perceive, but I didn't feel like we did anything disrespectful. But
boy, did he act like it, because he stood up again and he started berating us and he stormed off set.
He yelled at like it was everything got very quiet and he was just standing there just yelling
at us.
And I was like, thinking at the time, I was like, well, this is never going to be on the show.
And I was thinking, this is going to be an amazing episode.
This is one of the most iconic things that's ever happened. And we've talked for years.
It was an honor.
Because we still have the footage. We've talked for years about playing it at the holiday party, but we've never had the balls to do it.
He yelled
Let's
at
do it
us.
this year.
He berated us.
Let's do it this year.
There was a lot of confusion on his part because he didn't make a cogent argument in his tirade.
Cogent arguments were never really his thing.
No. And so he stormed off set, and then like his publicist and all these other people were like chasing him. Like our showrunner at the time was chasing him. And then we get ushered back to our office.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, is he gonna be in here? Are we gonna have to endure more of this? He wasn't in there, but it was like Stevie and the showrunner at the time, and like, we're just trying to figure out what happened and what do we do? And I was.
You were pushing to keep it, of course.
I wanted to keep it.
And I had already fast forwarded to the future in which
this was the boost we needed.
Definitely were not going to keep it.
This is gonna get people talking.
Oh, they would have, for sure.
I still don't know why we didn't air it.
Because we would have been sued.
No, we wouldn't have. For what?
Well, because when...
People walk off sets all the time on like late night shows.
No, because when someone says, I don't want you to air that.
Okay. Why? But he signed a prenup.
No, we didn't have our system. He was not ovulating.
We never aired it, and
I didn't want to. And also, let me take that back. It's not that we didn't want to be sued. It's that that's not the nature of what we do. Like we would have never done something, and this is where I take issue with you actually thinking that you would have wanted to air it, because we don't like taking advantage of people. Like that's never been, our humor has never been taking advantage of people.
Right.
So when somebody does something that they don't like the way that they looked, well,
right, we respect that.
We're not gonna show that to people.
Yeah.
That's not the kind of content that we do. We're not looking to expose people.
And the system is set up in such a way that if we weren't the upstanding guys that we were, or that you are.
That I am. Yeah. Speak for me.
It still doesn't really allow for that to happen because you got everybody in this town. This is a small town. And when you're talking about getting people to book people to come in, you have a working relationship with the people that book that filmmaker, but also they book other people too.
Yeah.
So
you don't want to burn a bridge.
You don't want to burn a bridge with a booker by saying, hey, I can't be trusted with your client.
Yeah.
So that level of respect, I think it's worked in our favor. But
so we do have that story.
I thought it was a wild moment.
Maybe one day. I don't know what circumstances. Maybe his death. We will honor him by releasing.
There's definitely got to be a statute of limitations on this thing. I don't know. You'll see it eventually. You can judge if we were the horrible people. I don't think we were.
So that's our answer to that. That we have pulled the plug on something that was at least half baked.
Good question.
Before we listen to another voicemail,
I
would like to talk about a cultural phenomenon that we have somehow become a part of. You may have seen the show, The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives.
I have.
If you're my wife, who's not Mormon, she's very into this. I'm not doing the reality TV thing as much with her as I used to do, so I have not come along for this particular ride.
I watched one episode over Christy's shoulder.
Oh, how was that? Framed nicely by her hair?
Yeah, it was beautiful that way.
She has pretty Mormon hair.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So that was nice.
She doesn't really have the beliefs, though, and I think that's kind of what makes you Mormon.
Halfway there with the hair, though.
It's not a nationality.
Well, it certainly seems like it at times. Well, okay, let me back up a second.
Whoa.
Let me just back up a second.
That's not who we are.
I'm just. Hey, my Latter-day Saints people know. They know they know that they're.
They can take a Latter-day joke.
They can take a Latter-day joke. They can climb up the ladder every once in a while. Get a little joke. Yeah, they're fine.
Okay, yeah, I agree.
And so anyway.
They're a robust group of frontiers people.
This show, which is all about Mormon wives,
But they're influencers, or are they dancers? I can't remember.
There is dance. I know there's dancing. There is like TikTok dancing that takes place. Mm-hmm. I don't know a lot about it. All I know is it was brought to our attention here at Mythical that in the first episode, there was a couple that was having alcohol, or at least champagne, for the first time ever. And in the process of toasting,
yes,
the husband says, "Dink it and sink it." We have that clip. I have the clip.
I've heard about this. I haven't watched this clip.
Right here.
And there's some controversy that's going around on Reddit about this that we want to address.
Yeah, so here's the clip.
Floors. This is a very special moment. Yeah. I feel like we should go like this. Wait, let's cheers it.
Drink it?
Yeah.
Drink it.
Okay.
He said it.
They don't like champagne. That's spoiler alert.
They don't like champagne.
Spoiler alert, it's bad.
Yeah, homeboy said dink it and sink it.
And dink it and sink it.
She should have said sink it.
She didn't seem to respond to
She ignored it.
It almost like he didn't expect her to. He just said dink it and sink it, like it was just for him.
Just for him and for us. The editors probably didn't know what was happening. They just left it in.
Well,
maybe there's a Mythical Beast editor.
Well, the reason I don't believe that's the case is because I think that someone on Reddit said that the captions say like clink it and sink it or dink it and clink it or something. They don't get it right. Yeah. So they didn't know it said dink it. He says it a little bit under his breath. And
he definitely said dink and not clink.
Yeah, he said dink it and sink it. Now, this got posted on Reddit, and then there's a discussion on that Reddit thread where somebody, I'm not going to call you out, I don't know, because I don't have it here. But somebody basically says that this doesn't necessarily mean that this guy is a fan, because I was saying dink it and sink it years before I ever watched Good Mythical Morning. And I was like, what?
What? What? No way. We
always thought that we had coined this term.
We did.
We
coined it.
Didn't we?
It was coined.
It was coined.
By us. It didn't exist beforehand, but you got me thinking. I'm like, man, well, I gotta. So I said, I just searched dink it and sink it origin. First thing that comes up, when did the dink it and sink it thing start? On the Good Mythical Morning Reddit thread. What does dink it and sink it mean, people ask? The answer to this is, SINK is an acronym for single income, no kids. And you guessed that, DINK stands for dual income, no kids. And you're right. So this is a term, like a Gen Z term for dinks and sinks, dual and single income, no kids.
We're Gen X, we didn't know about this.
We didn't know about that part. I cannot find anybody else talking about
dink it and sink it in the context of
no Urban Dictionary,
food or glasses together.
It's just not on the internet. It's not coming up. I mean, when I look back at I also found another Reddit thread from 6 years ago where somebody asked, I'd like to know in which episode the phrase dink it and sink it is first used. Of course, Novocaine 96 is the mythical beast keeper of all things that we've ever said.
Aggregator, if you will.
And Novocaine 96 says, I believe that the first dink it is from Will It Jello. I mean, they have the system of scrubbing all of the subtitles of every episode and then cataloging it, then it can be searched. So I actually believe this to be true. The first dink it was in Will It Jello, but the first dink it and sink it was in Will It Pie, which was an on location at Pie Hole.
Pie Hole, yeah, downtown.
And then, the season 8, episode 91. Yep. So people, and then somebody said, oh man, this will bug me because I remember the first time you said it. I was like, adorable Link. And then they said it again and I knew it would be a thing. You know me, making things a thing. I'm glad that you're defending this because you don't like things.
Well, hey, we've been through this. I'm not gonna go
Dink it
into
and
it
sink
again.
it is us. It's a take on clink it and sink it, which some people might say, but you didn't say dink it and sink it before us.
Now, well, first of all, it's possible to have what they call convergent evolution in phraseology.
You might have come up with it yourself.
You might have independently coined
Google
it.
doesn't say that.
It does happen. But my best guess, friend, is that this is just a faulty firing of your memory and you've gotten these things out of order.
We are cultural influencers in the Mormon reality TV genre.
Yeah, and now it's no surprise, hey, let me just be honest with you. It's no surprise that an adult couple that has a child but has never tasted alcohol was a fan of what we do. I mean,
we were almost that ourselves.
Yeah, no, yeah, right. My first beer was when I was 21 years old. I was a good boy. I was a rule follower, following the laws of the land.
You didn't even taste one?
We made wine for ourselves in high school and tasted it on a riverbank.
But it wasn't that alcoholic.
Right. We never measured it ABV,
No, we didn't.
I'm just saying.
It was horrible.
I'm
honored.
We're honored. We are fully accepting this.
We would like to put ourselves forward as key players in the next season of Secret Lives of Mormon Wives.
Yeah, we got other phrases.
And we'll say them in person, and we'll interact.
So maybe the way we do this is, this is a covert operation. We don't want to talk directly to the producers. We want to talk to you, the cast of Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, including future cast, those who aspire. I don't know how it works. Those who aspire to be a part of the world.
Learn more of our
phrases. Find all the ways that you can work them into.
Yep.
But do not let the editors know that you're doing this because they'll try to exercise power. Editors just want power. Okay? Mm-hmm. And this is how they exercise it. By what? Editing.
And we want influence.
Because we are
secret
influencers.
Mormon. We are secret Mormon influencers.
Don't let the editors impact our influence.
That's right. Let's take the power back by inserting as many phrases as you can see we can't.
If there's a blindfold, I don't know much about this show, but what I have heard, have y'all watched it at all?
It gets a bit catty.
Isn't there some potential swinging that's happening?
Yeah, there is swinging that they at least talk about. That's the whole controversy that I think sparks the show in the first place.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's also interesting because as you watch the show, it's so overblown and super bright in the first episode, and it starts to lessen.
It takes a dark turn.
It just I think editing wise, it was a choice. I don't know if anyone else noticed.
Editors trying to exercise their power. Let's make it dimmer. That could also be the DP.
It could be that
DP.
Your
DP's like to exercise power
computer
too.
was getting low too.
All right, but we are honored. More of that, please.
Yeah.
We'll be in it.
We'll take it.
We'll be in it. We'll be, we could be.
And any other Mormon shows. Let's just not stop there.
I'll be a swim instructor.
What's the one with the guy with all the blonde guy, Cody, with all the wives? We used to watch that. Do they still make that show? They lived on a cul-de-sac?
Sister Wives? Or?
Sister Wives.
Is that it?
Okay.
I don't know if that's still being made.
Never watched that one.
I was still in my reality show phase when that show was being made.
I've heard
I would accept them using any of the
Christy
phrases.
and Jesse refer to themselves as sister wives before, and I would always tell them, well, that means that you're both married to one of us. That's not what you mean.
No, it just means they have a bond. In some ways, they are married to the other guy. I think that was
all right. Maybe they're right.
Philosophically speaking, in fact, we have a coffee mug.
There's no swinging though.
in our house that I think was a gift from your wife. I think they might have bought it together, but it says, "If we were Mormons, you would be my sister wife," or something like that. I drink out of it all the time.
It's currently still releasing. Yeah,
all right,
there's 19 seasons.
We'll be on that too.
Okay, so we're contacting the cast of Sister Wives right now.
Yep.
There's a lot of children on that show. Y'all might watch. Feel free to use any of our phrases.
I will be a decaffeinated beverage distributor. What will you be?
You're saying you're going to show up on the show as a decaffeinated beverage
Distributor? Yeah, I drive a truck.
I wasn't saying I wanted to be on the show. I just was saying I wanted him to. But you got. Well,
I've been saying in every way I can that I want to be on the show.
Oh well, I would like. I mean, this could be controversial, but I look a lot like Mormon Jesus, and so if there is an open role for Jesus to make an appearance,
right? It could be like
probably is getting to be sacrilegious, but maybe.
Do they have flashbacks?
Maybe are
there origin flashbacks?
A nativity scene with an adult Jesus.
Yep. Yeah, there you go.
You get up to the manger and whoa, that's a man. That's a manger. That's not a manger, that's a manger.
He's a big boy.
I was trying to imagine you like swaddled.
Yeah. I'm not above that. So if there's a role for an adult baby Mormon Jesus in any of the upcoming seasons of any Mormon television shows, I think technically Chosen is made by the Mormons, isn't it? Am I wrong about that?
Oh.
I do not know.
Look that up. I don't want to get that wrong.
They're well funded.
And they've got a more.
It is not.
It is not. We know this now.
It is not.
It says.
Who's behind the show?
It says the show isn't produced by Mormons, but it says some Christians have seen Mormon influence on the show.
Oh. Okay. But they have a more accurate Jesus. It seems.
Mm-hmm.
The guy who plays Jesus probably looks more like Jesus actually looked.
Okay, good.
Than I do. You know what I'm saying?
All right.
Okay. You want to read listen to another voicemail?
Yep.
Let's still do that.
Charles, Laugh Lines. My name is Jack. I'm from Chicago, but you can call me Rose. I just got done listening to your Yellowstone episode, and I really appreciated the factual segment or assessment on the country Canada. And I was wondering if you could do something similar, because I'd really like to hear what you have to say about Chicago, Illinois.
Okay.
Just tell me how it really is, man.
Yep.
Y'all have a good day.
Our pleasure. We've been there to Chicago multiple times.
Several times.
And we've
made some observations.
Got a very developed sense of the place.
These are all very informed Chicago opinions. Let me just preface it with that.
Yep, let them have it.
There are 3 food groups: pizza, hot dogs, and Italian beef, and that is the only thing I've ever seen any one of them eating. And as a result, the people of Chicago, over a series of generations, have evolved actual new arteries that pre-bypass.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So a lot of people don't know this, but the only place in the country where you have arteries that grow out of your heart and make a bypass before you need a bypass, it happens in Chicago.
And if you're lucky, you get a pre-triple bypass.
Well, the more you can grow, the better.
Pre-quadruple bypass.
Right.
It happens.
Uh-huh.
And 98% of people who live in the Chicago area, when their stomach has been sampled, there is a sedentary pool of deep dish crust down there that is permanent. It is lining.
It's like a sedimentary layer.
The bottom of their stomach in such a way as then that's how they know when they're upright.
Right. It's also how they know how old they are when they die.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to know how old someone is from Chicago when they die, and the police do this, they open up the stomach and they measure the depth of the crust.
Right. Just know how, and they know how old everybody is, not because of like family records or anything, but because of those samples. And of course it's windy. We don't have to tell you how windy it is, but the ballast in the stomach is the reason why Chicagoans are so resilient to wind.
But speaking of wind, a lot of people don't know this. The entire town is wind powered. And when I say that, I don't mean just that the cars run on wind. You might notice this. If you look at any pictures of cars in Chicago, you'll notice that they all have the teeny little sails. And that's how they get around, wind only. But also,
you'd think it's just
a lesser known element of this is that the voices of the people of Chicago are also wind powered. So a person who's in Chicago does not expel anything from their lungs when they speak. They open their mouth and they receive wind. And so you'll notice versus like most people in the world, a Chicago person is coming in. So this is everyone else. Chicago is
because it's the wind flowing over the vocal cords that
it's like
allows them
wind,
to communicate.
It's like a piano being played just by someone blowing on it.
And their diaphragms are extremely underdeveloped.
Also, it is a law within the city limits that you can only talk about sports between the hours of 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. And if you violate this, you are choked with a bratwurst.
Right. And they line up for it.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a certain group of Chicagoans who like it.
Mm-hmm. They like the bratwurst?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. A certain group.
And I believe over this past summer they had a brat summer.
Yeah, they did.
Right. It was a big thing where they were
so
lining
strong.
up around the block to be choked by bratwurst for talking about sports.
They're all wearing
after hours.
Really bright green dresses.
Yep.
And getting choked by brats.
Right. Yep.
And finally, the people of Chicago, they believe that the Great Lake next to them is the actual ocean.
Right, and you can't tell them any different.
They are like, it's the beach.
Take them on the boat to the other side.
No matter how many times you
They're
say,
in Europe.
Y'all, it's a lake. That is a freshwater lake.
They won't hear it.
It is not the ocean. They think it's the ocean.
And we love them.
Yeah, we love them for
it. We
it.
love them. It's one of our favorite places to visit. It's a lot more digestible than Canada, I'll tell you that. I mean, you get up there and you're just lost. There's no street signs. There are no streets.
Yeah, they do have street signs. Yeah.
Don't get us started on Canada again.
There's actual pavement in Canada. Like, their roads are paved. I mean, in Chicago.
Yeah.
In Chicago, the roads are paved. Yeah. There's drainage. They have an infrastructure.
Glad to be of help. You called us. We answered. There's more where that came from. But what else you got, Jamie?
Hi. My name is Skaya. I'm from Cincinnati, Ohio. I was just wondering, generally, if you could do an advice about dating or figuring out things in your youth and letting that happen. Specifically, I'm going through a breakup, and I'm wondering if you have any advice about how to, like, cut off the communication and let go and just be like, this is it. Like, I am at peace with this, and that's fine. Because I'm finding it difficult. Anyway, love you guys. Love your work. Incredible. You're the best. Okay, bye.
Thank you for all the encouraging words there at the end.
We can help you. Are we going to? You be the judge of that. I am sad that you're going through a breakup. But I think you gotta believe that it's for the best. There's a reason why it's happening, but there's a part of you that doesn't want it to happen. And you're like, there's all these false starts that am inferring. And I mean, when I broke up with my girlfriend, my high school girlfriend, freshman year in college, like towards the end of, it was after freshman year. I got to tell you, I was in shambles. Because we broke up because we weren't keeping our boundaries.
Oh.
I had these boundaries that were dictated by
God,
my faith. And I was a stickler for these things, but it was my track record was not great.
Sometimes the stickler wants to be a dickler.
Now, I've already told you that I was a virgin when I got married, so it's like it wasn't. I mean, these are just facts. But I'm only giving you this background to say that, like, it was so hard to break up when you didn't really want to. It was strange, actually. It was really bad. Like, I think it's definitely the most depressed I've ever been.
And you wanted to remain friends.
And that didn't work.
The way
for us.
that this was phrased in this question was, I'm going through a breakup. And it seems like maybe there are some incidental, maybe some intentional connections that are being maintained. I think about the breakups that I had, like a middle school breakup. You break up with a person and then they're just, they're in class the next day.
You see them the next day.
And then you're like, well, and we had a group of friends that, if you dated somebody in the group and then you broke up, the dynamic of the group might change a little bit, but the group itself would not change. The members of the group would stay the same, which I actually think is healthy. But that's like for schoolyard stuff.
Schoolyard stuff, you eventually get over it.
I think in this situation,
I dated girls in the friend group that then and so did you, that then they just became friends.
Yeah.
And that was even in high school.
But I don't necessarily think that,
and then
I think that's healthy in that context.
I now think of them as friends, not as ex-girlfriends.
But I don't think as an adult that's necessary. I don't believe
hard.
that's the way you do it.
Tough.
We haven't been through this. We haven't been through like a post-internet breakup where you've got like, okay, well, how do you handle the social media thing?
Never done that.
Do you continue to text them?
I mean, Jenna, what's the worst breakup you ever been through?
Oh boy. The worst breakup I have ever been
Jenna over
through.
there taking her glasses off.
Taking my glasses off,
rubbing
my
her
face. Okay, the worst breakup I ever went through was in college, and man, I love this guy. And we had just moved in together, and it was 3 days after my birthday. And he told me that he couldn't do it anymore. And I had
After 3 days of living together?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, after like a week of living together, 3 days after my birthday, he said he couldn't do it anymore and I had to move out. And I moved out. I had nowhere to go, so I moved in with my Aunt Marina and then did a little digging. And yeah, he had been unfaithful for quite a large amount of time of our relationship.
Yep.
And he was friends with my cousins, so I had to see him on multiple occasions, and it was brutal.
How did you let him know that you found out the truth? Did you write?
Oh, I was
Did you use blood to write on anything?
I was still fairly active on Facebook, so I'm pretty sure I sent some cryptid.
You Facebooked.
Like you know when you used to do the cryptid like statuses on Facebook, like like you know this is like geared at like one particular
one person.
I did some of those. We certainly.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. He denied everything, of course, but anyway, he also was dealing with drug problems.
Well, Jenna, I mean, do you feel like you were spared at this point?
Oh yes, certainly.
Yeah.
I feel like I was spared 100%.
Right. So I think the question
the man
revolves.
should be in prison. Is he? No.
Oh wow.
That is not.
Oh God.
Yeah.
So I think you're both confirming one thing, which is just like, if a breakup occurs, it's probably because it needed to occur, right? So you could take some solace in like, okay, this relationship, at least right now, was not meant to happen. But the question of the level of cutting someone off, and I'm just theorizing at this point. If I were in the situation where I actually wanted to move on, I feel like I would have a discussion where I said, listen, I respect you and like you as a person and wish the best for you, but I think that if we don't have another social thing that's going to cause us, like maybe we work together, maybe you're friends with my cousins, like when we see each other, we will be congenial, but I'm not going to continue to have regular contact with you. You'll see that I've unfollowed you on the social networks. You'll see that I'm not texting you.
You're saying
anymore.
All this is part of a negotiation for breakup?
No, it's not a negotiation.
Just block them and move on.
No, I'm just saying, but okay, sometimes, well, the reason I'm saying you're just communicating that that's what's happening. Because if you don't communicate it, all of a sudden you just completely cut them off, and maybe you need to in a situation like with what Jenna was dealing with, you just completely cut them off. But I'm saying if you wanted to still have you still respected the person. The reason you broke up was because it just wasn't going to work out, and you didn't want to just, banish them from the earth. You just be like, the reason I'm not going to respond to your text, the reason I'm unfollowing you on this is because this is the boundary that I'm setting up. I'm just letting you know.
Are the worst breakups, like that was bad. Thanks for sharing that.
Thanks.
Is it actually worse to break up when it's not over a big thing, but just over like long-term incompatibility? Is that actually worse than finding out that you've been cheated on? Like, I don't know the answer.
Oh, it's probably way worse to fully go through it, to fully follow through with it, yeah.
But what's a more heart-wrenching thing?
I've had a few situations that were heart-wrenching because I genuinely cared about these partners that I had, but it was one of those where there wasn't a long-term, it was clear we were going in different directions.
Mm-hmm.
We loved and appreciated each other, but we weren't each other's people. And those are hard because those are slower, and those you still kind of keep in contact with.
That's what it sounds like.
That's
she's
when you
getting
need
at.
it. That's what you're talking about when you need.
Well, because
need to come up
reading,
with some sort
I'm
of
reading
like,
between
hey.
the lines. I'm going through a breakup. She didn't say, I just broke up. It's like, it sounds like it's somebody coming to the realization that they're not supposed to be together. And that can be hard because you get lonely pretty fast, right?
And having a plan, like putting a plan and some commitments and some boundaries in place is probably might save some heartache of like the flip-flopping and the waffling.
Yeah, definitely just asking for space. Like if the breakup is happening and going through, just asking for space and whatever boundaries you need. If that means that they need to not contact you for a while, but you haven't fully blocked them if they do need to reach out, or if it's a full blocking situation. You could certainly, if you don't want to unfollow someone or block someone on social media, you could mute their notifications. And that's a good way where if you're not fully cutting someone out of your life, that's also great if like you don't want them to know that because that they're blocked or unfollowed.
Because sometimes
and they won't see your stuff.
Sometimes communicating what I just communicated could actually create a new thread with that person that you don't want to have. So I recognize that.
It really just depends on the.
But muting. You don't see their stuff, but they can still see yours.
They can still see yours. Yeah.
There's no indication.
Right.
What about burning their shit? That you've still got.
What?
In like a ritualistic.
Ritualistic is very fun. Highly encouraged. Yeah. As long as it's not anything that is
toxic when it burns.
Is toxic when it burns. Yeah, exactly.
Well, we're outside. We're in the woods.
Cotton clothing is perfectly fine. Letters that they send, photos, perfectly fine.
Mm.
Yeah. Burn
I don't know
some
about
sort of
letters.
effigy of them that
I don't think
highly
you should
recommend.
burn.
You don't think you should
Go
burn
to a
letters?
safe-
You're too much of a collector, man. Letters are the perfect thing to burn.
Because then, like 30 years down the road, you're like, what is this? And then you're like, man,
You don't need it. You don't need that. You don't need that. Burn that shit, man.
Okay.
Burn the letters.
Yeah, cremated. That part of you is dead now.
I don't think I don't have letters from that era. But we did write letters to each other. But I don't have them. I don't think.
You might have them in a shoebox somewhere.
I mean, if they turn up 20 years from now, Christy and I can read them together and get a kick out of it.
Yeah, but I'm saying if you were looking
or
for
tomorrow,
some catharsis in the moment.
Yeah. Burn something.
You don't have to burn them all. Maybe you digitize them before you burn them.
Oh, don't do that. It makes it too convenient.
You got hide it in like a hidden folder or something like that.
Yeah.
If people burn things, though, remember, be safe about it. Talk to your local fire department. Don't start a forest fire.
Don't do this in California.
Don't start a forest fire.
Don't do this in California.
But highly recommend burning an effigy of an ex.
Get the firemen. Get the fire people's help, because then you might spark a new romance.
Oh, meet a fire person.
Yes, there's.
They work weird hours though.
They are attractive.
Yep.
And they like it hot.
They know how to act in emergencies.
Yeah.
They won't smile at you with a weird smile.
That's one of your. Have you ever dated a fireman? Because that is one of your types.
It is one of my types.
It has to be.
And I have never dated one. So hello, fireman.
Jenna wanted to date
if
a
you're
fireman.
listening.
We got Michaela coming in on a Good Mythical Weekend for. Emily had a date on Good Mythical Weekend.
With a fireman?
Michaela is coming in. They're bringing people in for her to date.
I mentioned that I am single and open to dating on the show.
Did you watch Emily's episode?
I did. I was supposed to be a part of like helping because you know she's one of my best friends, but like unfortunately I wasn't in town when they filmed it. Sadly,
maybe we could get you a fireman.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Let's do it.
I mean, you got to be willing for him to be on call for like what is it like? They do like a 24, maybe 48-hour shift.
Yep.
Yeah, that's fine. I like my alone time. They don't have to stay over every night.
Right.
They can have their own thing.
Right.
How are you at treating burns?
You remember I was very prepared when you straightened Rhett's hair. I am very good at being prepared.
Jenna's actually
for
really
burns.
really good in emergency situations.
I'm amazing in emergency situations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Level-headed.
How do you feel about a pole in your house?
Absolutely. I've already had a pole in my house before.
Shit. Okay. Man, we can learn so much about Jenna today.
Okay. I enjoyed this. You see, we have such a good time. We have such a good time when you ask us questions, when you make observations about the things that we've talked about. Let's keep the momentum going.
Yeah, let's do that. We like it.
No one likes the sound of their own voice. It doesn't matter. Just call in. Ask the question that you've been burning to ask. We'll help you with anything. As you can see, we've got great advice.
Right, that's the type of people we are. That's who we are.
Link, it's technically your rec, but I already talked to you about this, and I feel like this is a rec. This is actually neither one of our recs.
We received a rec.
We received a rec. I was looking at the discussion that was happening underneath the Yellowstone episode.
On YouTube?
On YouTube, and someone, multiple people, but the first one I saw was Shenanigans Is Me on YouTube, said, you know what, you should read the book, Death in Yellowstone, Accidents and Foolhardiness in the First National Park, which I haven't read it yet, but I'm going to read it.
You said it was highly rated.
It was there was like over 1,000 or so ratings, and it was very highly rated. And it just is going to be a bunch of stories that, like Jay told us on our trip, I'm sure. In fact, the one about the dog apparently is in the book.
Yeah, I would hope it would be.
So that's going to be my next.
We're so twisted.
My next read.
It's not for everybody.
So,
I mean, even when
we're recommending you try it.
When we recommended American Buffalo, I hadn't listened to the whole thing, and then there was a whole chapter about how he disassembles the buffalo so that he can transport all the parts out. And I'm driving down the road about to get nauseous. I'm like, man, I can't believe.
I think
this is tough for me.
I think you need some exposure therapy. I think we need to take you.
That's it. I was trying to gently smile.
Yeah, I think we need to take you through a butchering process of something.
No.
You know, so you can get back in touch with.
That's basically what that chapter was.
Your carnal, just the history.
My hunter-gatherer
history that made our species what it is, man. I think you might need just to go out with me.
So that's our rec.
Do it.
Something we're just passing along a recommendation that was basically something we talked about, but we haven't read the book.
The recommendation is that you also read it, and then we'll all talk about how good or bad it was.
Okay, we're starting a book club.
No, we're not.
Yeah, I was like, wait, yeah.
Don't get excited, Jenna.
Oh, sorry.
We might, though. We might someday. Lots of people have asked.
We're going to start installing poles in people's homes, though.
Yep.
In Mormons' homes.
Yeah, well, I don't know.
All right, talk at you next week. Thank you for making your biscuits what it was today.
Wow. Hey, Rhett Link. My name is Jacob from Georgia, and I really just wanted to say that here recently, after becoming slightly physically disabled and not being able to work, on the days that I have to sit at home and be in a lot of pain and can't do much else, you guys always put a smile on my face, whether it's your podcast or Good Mythical Morning. I know you probably hear that a lot, but you guys are a really important part of my day. God bless you both. You are fantastic, and you really help me get through life with a smile. So thank you, Rhett Link.